Hello, Vivid Earth Tribe. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, very well. Um, I wanted to bring this message to you yesterday, but things were a little bit crazy yesterday. I didn't have time. But I woke up yesterday morning with a flash of inspiration, which I actually wanted to record as soon as possible. But then I had meetings and other stuff, so I couldn't do it. Um, and then, so let me tell you what it is first. So I woke up in the morning and I thought the most important theme right now is the concept of pure or purity. So let me explain. Purity of thought, purity of uh, emotion, purity of food, purity of water, purity of everything that we put into our minds, into our hearts, into our bodies. That's the most important thing right now because we're bombarded by so many different things, and there's so much negativity around. Obviously, most of you are also kind of awake, so you kind of know what's going on with the royal family, with the passing of the queen and the story behind the story. And it's very easy for us to get swept up into a very sort of negative space. So I wanted to bring you this message because um, it's a little bit of a trap that we can fall into. And for me, there's nothing more important right now than to create that purity, that environment of purity inside and outside of you, because that's what's going to keep your frequency high. And it was so interesting because I woke up with this idea, and then a little bit later, I was looking at YouTube, and the next thing that pops up is an interview by Jason Shirker saying the same thing. Now, I haven't listened to the interview yet, but there's like purity, I think purity of thought in the actual name of the video. So it's like, wow, clearly a few of us got that download kind of at the same time. It's quite possible. But for me, it's so important. I see so many sort of light workers around the world, but then they fall into this trap. They see themselves as not light workers, but then they see themselves falling into this trap of getting pulled into negativity. Whether it's of thought, of things that they say, things that they associate with, um, things that they get involved in from a physical point of view, whether it's other people, whether it's doing certain things. And there is nothing more important right now than to be very self-aware and to make sure that you don't fall into that trap, because it's actually going to slow you down. And I'm also speaking to myself here because we're all humans. We all get triggered. We can't help it. Like when the queen passed, I think a lot of people kind of went all out, and it's like, thank heavens the lizard queen is gone. And then others were like, well, we shouldn't do that, and we should respect her life. And I think we all come from different places. I mean, I live in Africa. There's been so much pillage, rape and theft in this country and this continent by the monarchy, that it's very easy to feel, and it's natural to feel angry and vindicated and all these sort of lower vibrational emotions. And it's okay to feel it, but you need to move out of that as soon as possible, because it's going to pull you down into this whirlpool of lower vibrational frequencies, that's really going to slow you down in your ascension process. So we are all human. We do feel these emotions, so it's natural, but be very self-aware. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then move through it and move out of it, and then embrace a feeling of acceptance first of all, and then forgiveness, and then compassion even. I know it's really hard because some people have been really affected by whatever has been perpetrated over many years. And some people are closer to it than others, and naturally they're going to feel very triggered. And the thing is that I keep saying this, but we're not going to solve this problem on this earth in this 3D matrix through fighting it with the same forces than what has been used in this onslaught on us. That's only going to perpetuate the problem. We need to transform this energy, this lower vibrational energy, because energy is just that. It's always there. It never goes away. So, but you can transform it. So if there are lower vibrational energies, you can actually transform that into a higher vibrational energy state. And that's our job. That's our most important job right now, because if we want this cycle of abuse, torture, tyranny, trauma, suffering, hate, and war to end on this planet, we have to transform the energy. There's no other way. And I hear so many people talk about, fighting the war, the spiritual war. And it is in a way, but if you keep associating the word war with what's going on right now, you're going to perpetuate that fighting energy, and that is not going to change things. It's going to perpetuate and it's going to prolong what's going on here. So that for me is one of the most important things that I can share right now for me, and I hope you find it valuable. Just catch yourself every time you get angry or you have a negative thought and transform it. It's okay. You can feel it. We all have emotions. We are in this reality where we have a lot of emotions to deal with. But, part of the awakening process is also becoming very self-aware and choosing our state of mind, choosing our environment, choosing our energy state every minute of every day. And you can go and experiment with this. Next time you have to go out into the busy city, into the 3D matrix, whatever you want to call it, and you encounter people that perhaps you don't, vibrationally connect with anymore. People may cut you off and they may be rude to you, or, it's your choice how you're going to react to that. I mean, for me, I used to get angry and react in a negative way, but I've become super self-aware now. And you know what? It's just about all of how you respond to that. And when you realize that even those people that you think are awful beings, human beings on this earth, once you see them in a different light and understand the generational trauma and suffering and wounds that they are dealing with, which is the reason they are the way they are, suddenly you see them in a different light and you have compassion for them and you realize it's not personal. They are triggered, they react in a way that's in alignment with their unhealed wounds. And it's the reason that they're responding the way they are, even with, very evil extraterrestrial forces that we are dealing with, like the draconians and the reptilian enslavement that we see and feel on this planet. Think about those beings for a moment. I know it's hard because they do horrible, horrible things, but if you understand that they're completely programmed and they don't understand what they are doing, they don't have a sense of, they don't see it as cruel, they see it as survival. As funny as it may sound, but for them, that's their survival. They're in fight and flight. And so for them, they just see it as a necessity. And I'm not saying just, forget about what happened and forgive them. But the thing is, if we want the cycle to stop, the cycle of abuse, trauma, suffering, pain, hate, evil, we're going to have to transmute that energy. Yes, we have to stand up for the truth. And revealing the truth is very important, because I'm going to say again, the truth will set you free. You cannot awaken to the true magnificence of this planet and our own inner power if you don't know what the truth is, because then you're inside the matrix, you can't see it. So seeing the truth and understanding what's really going on is very important. And that's why I do spend a lot of time revealing the truth as well. Although it may seem sometimes like very dark subject matter. And my intention is not for you to dwell on that, but you can take the time to go through that trauma, because it's quite traumatic to see some of these things. You see some of these documentaries that I've shared. I share a lot of information on Telegram that I can't share here. Often resharing information or documentaries or videos that have been created to make people understand what's really going on. Go and follow the channel if you haven't already. It's just called Vivid Earth. I'll leave it in the description as well, the link. But once you see that, I mean, I was very traumatized for a couple of weeks. I was shocked beyond belief when I saw what was going on behind the scenes, in the tunnels, suffering with the children and the baby factories. And it's almost impossible for us to fathom that, it can be possible for other beings to treat human beings like that. But once you've gone through that process of understanding what's going on, then you've got to work on transforming that energy and transmuting that anger into action. So what can you do to help? Because being angry is not going to help. So taking that anger, transforming it and turning it into action, helping other people realize the truth, and then realizing that you've got a major job to do on this planet right now, and that is to raise your vibration and to create that network of that grid of light around the planet, because you're one of those beacons of light. And once all the beacons are connected, and once we meet critical mass, that's when the whole game is changing. That's why I believe, like the solar flash or solar flare can't be exactly pinpointed. We don't know exactly when this ascension of the planet is going to happen, because it is up to us as well. This is not a passive experience. This is us all contributing to that. Once we have raised our vibration enough of us have done so, then it's like, it's like a switch. It just, the whole earth lights up. And so that is our most important job right now. Don't forget about it. Every morning when you wake up, remind yourself that you have to work at raising your vibration today. Bring all your 4 bodies into harmony with this vibration: your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, and your mental body. I like Mark Atwood's mantra. You can look it up, but he basically commands his 4 bodies to come into harmony with the golden age. I call it the golden age of love, because that kind of just explains the frequency that you need to be in order to raise your vibration. And once you've done that, and once you've harmonized those 4 bodies, there's not much that can penetrate that shield of high vibration, to be honest. It really, really works. So make sure you do that every day, every morning. A lot of people find meditation quite difficult, but even if it's 5 minutes, I can even recommend, if you really find it hard, to do some holotropic breathing with a short meditation after that, because that just puts your body into a very different state, and it alkalizes your body, and it kind of puts it in a different frequency. And then if you do just even a 5-minute meditation after that, after some deep breathing, it can really help you focus and quiet your mind, and get you into that sort of beta frequency. Sorry, out of the beta frequency. What am I saying? We want to get out of the beta wave frequency, because that's where the thinking mind is just, it can't stop. It's like what to do next, where to go next. It's like working overtime, and we've got to balance that out with alpha, theta, gamma, because that's where the sweet spot is for us, in terms of the space that we need to be in to learn the next level of superpowers that we need to unlock, because they are there. If you think that this is it, you are sadly mistaken. We're only using 4% of our genetic potential. Imagine that, 4%. Even if we go up to 10%, can you imagine how powerful we are? All the things that we have been hidden from us or have been suppressed, all those next level superpowers like intuition, telepathy, you name it, all those intuitive powers. That's when we're going to start unlocking them. We've been told since we were a young child that living in your imagination and being in that space is not a good thing. Like, it's almost like shaming. I remember I was a big daydreamer when I was little. I was just like in school, I was constantly staring out of the window and I was in a different place. I was probably on a different planet doing something else, because clearly this was kind of a waste of time, this kind of school system and what we were taught. And then somebody would like wake you out of that daydream with a shock and make you feel embarrassed that you were in that place. And so we slowly start shutting that down because it's not accepted, right? Until we get to a stage in our life where we grow up and we don't even do it at all anymore. We think being in that beta wavelength is all that is, because it makes us feel smart, it makes us feel powerful, it feeds the ego, and it gets things done, right? And after being in business for more than 20 years, or running my own company for 15 years, and knowing exactly what that rat race looks like, and the quest for success, I suddenly woke up one day and realizing that this is not success. I was burnt out and I was drained and I felt like I was empty, and I had to reconnect with my inner self to find out who I really was outside of being in the rat race. And that really helped my awakening process in a big way. And so I want to urge all of you not to get caught up too much in the 3D nature of our lives and the very beta state that we find ourselves in. The thinking mind, the constantly thinking mind. It's okay, but learn to switch it off for periods of time during the day, whether it's first thing in the morning, last thing at night, preferably both, even middle of the day if you can. But that's the golden key, and that's the thing that they don't want us to know, because as long as we are in our thinking mind, we switch our intuitive side off. And as long as we're in that rat race, working 9 to 5, meeting deadlines, survival of the fittest, win, 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 we just never allow that state of ourselves to flourish. So that's my thought for the day, some food for thought. And again, I want to get back to purity of thought, purity of action, purity of any substance and energy form that you allow into your space and into your body. So yeah, think twice about anything and everything that you put into your body, whether it's food or whether it's water, anything that you drink, thoughts, anything that you think, any negative thought. Thoughts are very powerful, and you're perpetuating a negative frequency if you allow those negative thoughts to continue. And then the people you allow into your space, and even if it's like intimate partners or people that you meet, or friends that like to gossip, or friends that like to make fun of other people or bring them down, those are all things that are going to take you out of that higher frequency. So just think twice about every single thing that you encounter, and ask yourself the question, is this of a high vibration or a low vibration? And I think you'll find the answer pretty quickly, and become self-aware. And this is going to help you a lot. Really, really. It's one of the most important things that I can recommend right now, beyond what everyone else is suggesting and recommending. Constantly being self-aware and ensuring that purity of thought and energy that you allow into your space is always, always monitored. So those are my thoughts for the day. I hope that's been helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was. And please don't forget to subscribe if you just found this video randomly. Subscribe, because that way you'll be notified if I upload more interesting videos. There's some interesting interviews coming up. And don't forget to ring the notification bell on the little subscribe one, because if you don't, you're also not going to be informed. And then, as I said, subscribe to our Telegram channel. That's more sort of real news, uncensored news, if you want to have a daily update of what's going on in the world. Mostly I reshare other information. It's mostly within that sort of truther community to kind of illuminate the darkness, so to speak. But remember not to dwell on those things for too long. Remember your daily practices of purifying your mind and raising your vibration. So I'm sending you guys lots of love and light. It's a very exciting time that we are in right now. I do foresee big things happening later this month. Life-changing events coming up later this month. But I want to tell you all not to dwell into what is or could be. Don't be fearful. You may hear about big, major sort of earth events happening. Nothing negative will happen to us. We are on the right track in terms of where we need to be. So trust yourself, trust your instincts, and stay calm and stay grounded and stay centered, and keep raising your vibration and stay safe. And I'll hopefully see you soon. Lots of love.